Are you in a situation where your partner hates your family and friends? And in some cases, they actually go as far as preventing you from making any kind of contact with them. Or are they putting you in a situation where you have to choose between them and your family members? Today, I'm going to be telling you why your partner wants to create as much distance as possible between you and your loved ones. If you're in the situation I just described, what you're experiencing is a major sign of an abusive relationship called isolation. What your partner is trying to do is that they are trying to isolate you. But before I tell you why they are doing this, I'm going to talk about how isolation works. So I'm dividing this video into two parts. The first part, we're going to be talking about how your partner isolates you, and then we're also going to be talking about why they isolate you. Isolation usually starts in a very subtle form. So what happens usually is that in the beginning of your relationship, your partner will begin to make alternative plans every time you have a function or every time you have to meet up with your friends and family. So for instance, you tell them, oh, you're going to have a hangout with the guys, or you want to meet with your female friends, etc. They will suddenly tell you that, oh, they've made dinner reservations, they were planning a weekend getaway, or they'll tell you how you haven't been spending enough time with them and how they made special plans at that particular time. You see, if this happens once in a while, then there's no problem. But what you will notice is that it could keep happening over and over again. So much so that you keep having to cancel on your friends or on your family because your partner is always coming up with sudden dinner dates every time that you have to meet up with your loved ones. Now they'll move on from creating other plans to guilt tripping you. So after a while, as your relationship progresses, you will notice that they begin to guilt trip you. When you tell them that you want to attend a family function or you have something to do with your friends, they will pout, they will make a face, they'll talk about how you don't love them, you don't care about them enough. That's why you prefer to spend time with your family instead of them. They'll tell you about how they made so many sacrifices for your relationship, how you are not making the same effort as they are, etc. And because you want to prove to them that you genuinely love them, that you genuinely care about them, you will begin to pull away from your friends and family and try your hardest to please them. You try to be there for them all the time. It's just a subtle tactic to pull you away from your loved ones. They begin to sow discord between you and your family members. They try to create a rift, and so they begin to suggest certain things to you. So they may say things like, oh, your friend is jealous of our relationship, your friend doesn't want us to be together, or oh, I overheard your sister say this, can you believe your sister actually said that, or your mom said this, oh, I don't think your mom likes me, I don't think your family likes me, etc. They just keep saying things that will poison your mind against your friends and family. And sometimes they actually fabricate these things. And sometimes they're not really fabricating. So it's possible that your sister said something, but not in that context. So they will turn everything, take things out of context just to make sure that you begin to distance yourself from your family. They'll make you feel like they're the only ones that care about you and that your family and friends don't have your best interest at heart, which is not actually the case. But they're doing all of this so that they can isolate you, and I'm going to be telling you why they do that very soon. Please leave me a comment if any of the scenarios I've painted so far resonates with you, if you've experienced any of this, and how exactly did you deal with it, or did you even understand what was happening? Because usually many times you will not understand what is happening. You think it's just one thing or the other. You won't realize that it's actually an isolation tactic. Now, after they begin to sow discord and do one thing or the other, the truth is, regardless of how strong your bond is with your family, they will start putting you in a tight spot. And if they continue to poison your mind in this way, sooner or later they might begin to cause major rifts between your family and yourself. As time goes on, they become bolder and become outrightly rude to your friends and family. And so, let's say you attend a family function with them, for instance. They begin to complain throughout the entire function about how this is not right, how this was not done properly, etc. Just to bring you to a point of exhaustion that it becomes frustrating for you to attend events with them. Or smack in the middle of the function, they tell you they want to go, they have to leave immediately, and you have to leave with them. They just keep doing one thing or the other that makes you want to sort of hide them away from your family. So you are embarrassed because of their bad behavior. And so because of that, you basically just start to pull away. So initially they were using one gimmick or the other. After a while, they actually tell you flat out that you're not allowed to see your family and friends. And if you disobey them, then they begin to punish you. So they begin to deprive you of things that you want because you disobeyed, or perhaps you went out with your friends and then they lock you out and make you wait outside for hours just because you did that. They just begin to do mean things to you because you are choosing to spend time with your family and friends. And in certain situations, isolation can be so bad that it can actually become physical isolation. It can get to a point where they actually lock a person up in the house and the person is not allowed to leave the house without them. So they get to a point where you don't go anywhere if they are not following you. You don't go anywhere if you don't have somebody that they trust going with you. I remember hearing the story of a woman who always goes around with a bodyguard, and the bodyguards are not there to protect her. The bodyguards are there to monitor her, and she knows that that's why they're there to monitor her, to report everything she does to, well, whoever, the person that she's married to. So it can become that bad for certain people. Or they put you in situations where leaving the house becomes difficult. They empty the tank, make sure that there's no fuel, hide the money so that you can't go out. They just start doing strange things just so that you are completely physically isolated. Physical isolation is not only about locking a person up in their house. Sometimes, in some extreme cases, they will actually move a person to a completely different city, completely different country, and they will start off, early in the relationship, claiming that they are so in love, and then they'll keep trying to pester the person into eloping with them. So they'll keep saying, "Oh, I want us to start afresh. I want us to move to a new country. I want us to move to a new city where your family won't bother us." Remember, they've already been sowing seeds in this person's mind that their family doesn't really want them together. And so sometimes when they elope with this person, it's actually a way to completely shut them off from the people they know and from society entirely. And when they move them to this new city, they are not allowed to make contact with anybody. In fact, they begin to monitor their phone calls. I remember hearing the story of a man who literally sits beside his wife anytime she has to use the phone so that he can tell her exactly what she's to say if she calls her family. I mean, things like that. So please be careful if you meet somebody and the person is just suddenly eager to elope as quickly as possible. Please be sure that they are not showing any of the signs that I have mentioned earlier, that they are not sort of creating a rift between you and your family members so that you don't fall into the hand of an abusive person. So let's talk about why. Why exactly will anyone want to isolate you? Why will your partner want to isolate you? What do they benefit? What do they stand to gain from doing this? There are a couple of things. Number one, because for abusive people, it's all about control. They want to be in charge of all your decisions. They want to be the only ones influencing you. And so they don't want any other person telling you what to do or giving you advice or making you see things from a different perspective. So they don't want any other kind of influence. The second reason will be something that piggybacks off the first one, which is that they don't want anybody to call out their bad behavior. So a lot of times your family will probably notice things that you can't see because you are emotionally involved with this person. And so your family can see that this person is not treating you right or they're doing something wrong one way or the other. Your family will call out their bad behavior and will point it out to you. And abusers don't want that. So they will try to prevent you from contacting them so that nobody, calls out their bad behavior or points out their bad behavior to you. The third reason will be because they want you to be the sole source of your emotional needs. They want to be the only person validating you. They want to be the only person that cheers you on. They want to be the only person that gives you advice. They want to be the only person that is the shoulder that you can cry on if you like. And when they're able to do that, they're able to completely control a person because when you don't do what they want, they pull away their emotional support. So they give you the silent treatment. They, they become dismissive of your behavior. They do one thing or the other just so that you come back pleading, because then they begin to sort of regulate the way they show you love, if you like. So sometimes they're extremely kind, sometimes they're extremely cold. It's just a tactic to sort of make you more dependent on them. Isolation is a real issue, and it's very difficult to spot in the beginning. Let me point out a couple of things here. One is that the progression that I described at the beginning, things don't always progress in that manner, and it can vary from person to person. The second thing I want to point out is that it's possible that your partner has an issue with one of your friends or one of your family members. There's really nothing wrong with that. That's very possible. However, if your partner is one that seems to have a problem with all your family members, and you have a problem with all of your friends, and they keep trying to cause a distance, please know that there's something to be concerned about in that situation. It's also possible that your family members may not like your partner, but you need to find out why. What are the reasons why they don't like your partner? Is it possible that their reasons are because they can see how badly your partner is treating you? Please find out why your family doesn't like your partner. Find out what the real reason is, so that you don't sort of take the side of your partner against your family, because sometimes they may be seeing something that you are not seeing. Isolation is really a major sign that you may be in an abusive relationship, but you don't want to miss other signs. So that's why I want to hit that subscribe button, because I'm currently doing a series where I'm talking about the signs of emotional abuse. See you in the next one. Bye bye.